At San Jose State University,
we discover who we want to be. For ourselves,
for our families,
for our communities.
Different and unexpected.
Begin here.
At the heart of a transforming valley in a city that is tough and beautiful.
We are Spartans.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Maurice Hudson, and I am the president of the California Social Welfare Archives. On behalf of the California Social Welfare Archives and the California Social Work Hall of Distinction, I'd like to welcome all of you to the 19th Annual Hall of Distinction Induction Ceremony. As you can see, we are coming to you from the cyber campus of San Jose State University, and we appreciate you all taking the time to be here with us today. We have a wonderful program in store for you so that we can honor and recognize our 7 outstanding inductees: Jaja Shen, Virginia Rondero Hernandez, Bart Grossman, Lillian Aida Matsumoto, Gary Bess, E. Jane Middleton, and Lee Wong. To help guide us through our ceremony today is Dr. Colleen Friend. Dr. Friend?
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Colleen Friend, and as the immediate past president of the Hall of Distinction, I'm here to tell you a little bit about its history, how we got here, and give us a little bit of an overview of the induction that we're going to have today. Since its establishment back in 2002, with the work of visionaries like Jim Carles, Francis Feldman, faculty at the USC School of Social Work, and the support of very important anchors like Suzanne Dvorak-Peck, Jim Kelly, Esther Gillies, Monica White, and many others, including all members of the past HOD committees, and the Social Welfare Archives, including the president, Maurice Hudson, the California Social Work Hall of Distinction has brought you 18 great classes of inductees. And they range from outstanding practitioners, innovative and brave agency leaders who have integrated theory, research, and practice into their teaching and into their work with agencies. They have striven to bring you an ethnic, gender, and professional mix of social workers. And this 19th induction class is a stellar example of their work. Now that the Hall of Distinction is co-led by Dr. Joseph Nunn and Catherine Ralph, the HOD committee has brought us 7 candidates. I have been through all of their acceptances and the introduction speeches of the nominators, and I have a few things to say about them generally as a class. Some led in social work academia in our California Schools of Social Work, like Bart Grossman, or E. Jane Middleton, and Virginia Rondero Hernandez. Others accomplished so much by leading large agencies like Lee Wong and Gary Bess, and yet still others were exemplary practitioners like Jaja Shen and Lillian Matsumoto. We're going to learn a lot about them today. Taken as a whole, they were champions of inclusion and worked hard to fight injustice. They followed John Lewis's recommendation that we all need to get into a little bit of good trouble. I'm proud to say that we have a gallery of good troublemakers here today for our 19th induction into the Hall of Distinction. Other themes that you'll see emerging here today is their emphasis on relationship building and their adherence to ethics, even when they were disappointed in the activities and behaviors of others. You will be engaged, you will be moved, you'll be inspired by what you see today. Let's all remind ourselves that what we really want to do is inspire the students that are listening today to be able to do these kinds of things in their own communities. The Hall of Distinction is about paying it forward. Thanks for being here to support the inductees, and I will now turn it back over to President Maurice Hudson.
Thank you, Colleen. You know, it's really interesting that you mentioned the legacy being left by the current inductees to the Hall of Distinction. And I think that's so important because we have guests, students, researchers, folks from all over California, from all over the nation, and in fact, from all over the world. I'd like to send a special welcome to some guests that we've got from McMaster University in Ontario, Canada. We have some researchers who are doing a study on leadership in social work. And they reached out to us and are in attendance at this event to learn more about that very topic. And since we're on the topic of leadership in social work, I want to take this moment, Colleen, to recognize your leadership in social work. And on behalf of the Hall of Distinction Committee, I want to present you with this Lifetime Achievement Award to recognize and honor you for a decade of leadership of the California Social Work Hall of Distinction. You've left an indelible mark on me and everyone else on the committee, and everyone in California. If they don't know, then they better ask somebody, because what you've done is remarkable, and we want to recognize you for it. So I'd like to present this award to you now.
Wow. Thank you, Maurice. Thank you. I'm very surprised. I think this was a well-kept secret. Yes. Thank you. Well, wow. On my own behalf, I would like to accept this award, and I want to thank the committee very much for your honoring me for my work, and I'll treasure it. These events are always very moving, and it's an honor to be a part of it. And I thank you.
Well, Colleen, the committee wants to thank you too, and if you wouldn't mind, they have a few words that they asked me to convey to you on their behalf. From Dr. Peter Lee, San Jose State University. Dear Colleen, thank you for your leadership and support. In our time together with the Hall of Distinction Committee, as well as with LAD, NAD, and CAD, I have appreciated your passion and insights regarding social work education and our profession. Your dedication and focus on serving others and growing mutual benefit are inspiring and reminders of what all of us should strive to model. Enjoy what is next on your journey. From Nancy Lim Yee, dear Colleen, it has been such a privilege and honor for me to work with you on the Hall of Distinction Committee for the past 10 years.
Oh my goodness.
I have learned so much from your leadership. Thank you for your energy and the extra attention to details, that is true, folks, that you always put into everything our committee does. I will miss you very much. There's just a couple more, if you don't mind. You may know someone called Sue Peck. Sue says, Dear Colleen, thank you for being our caring and sharing leader for a decade. Your steady and calm expertise and leadership enabled us together to institutionalize the Hall of Distinction for the social work profession and for all whom we serve. No small feat. With much gratitude, Sue. Your good friend Joe Nunn, a man of few words. Colleen Friend is a colleague who supports teamwork and building consensus. She is a diligent worker and contributor. Colleen's sense of humor lightens the heaviest load. She is a true, capital F, friend. And last but not least, from current co-chair Kathy Ralph, it's hard to believe that anyone else could be as dedicated as Colleen Friend was. So now we will use her time with us as the measure of excellence for anyone who feels the gap we have felt so acutely for the past year. Many thanks for your leadership, Colleen, and may you always be a part of our annual ceremonies. You remain in our hearts. I endorse and echo every single word, Colleen.
Thank you, Maurice. I'm touched, and I'm sort of beyond words, but I think you've said it all, and the comments that people said, and I really appreciate that. And like I said, it was a well-guarded secret. So with that, I'm just delighted, and I'm thinking that we need to move on to in the interest of time, we need to move on.
It sounds like you don't want to make the whole ceremony about you, Colleen.
Thank you, though.
All right. Well, I think we do have a special guest that it's time to hear from,
Okay.
who wants to congratulate all of our inductees. And so please enjoy this message.
Hello, I'm Supervisor Candace Anderson of the Contra Costa County Board of Supervisors, and it is my pleasure to be here with you today to offer my congratulations to each one of you who are being honored with this wonderful award from the California Social Work Hall of Distinction. Those of you who are engaged in social work and have been throughout your careers make such a difference in the lives of individuals who are oftentimes at the most vulnerable time in their lives. My congratulations to all of you. I have worked closely with one of your honorees, Jaja Zhen, and worked with her for many, many years and admire the tremendous work she has done, particularly in our Asian community. She has worked so hard to remove the stigma that comes with someone who is suffering from a mental illness. In more recent years, she has worked with families to help parents and their children communicate better and relieve some of the stress that our children feel, particularly as they reach high school and face so many academic challenges. So today, I offer my sincere congratulations to each one of you. Thank you for your tremendous work over many years that has brought you to this time of honor and distinction.
Thank you, Supervisor Anderson, for those inspiring words and for taking the time to congratulate our outstanding 2021 class of inductees. And now, another very special message from a very special guest, Dr. Win Sandra Kaur, Dean Emeritus of the University of Illinois School of Social Work.
I am Win Kaur, Dean Emerita of the School of Social Work at the University of Illinois. I am honored to be introducing Cha-Cha Chen, a 1972 alum of our program. I think of her as a warrior to provide the best culturally appropriate services, to reduce barriers to mental health treatment, to make sure the next generation is prepared to do the challenging work of the profession. She has been a pioneer and innovator in mental health awareness for all age groups, particularly in Asian communities. During her 30 years of practice, she developed new programs and pathways to educate and improve community members' access to mental health services. When most people would have sought quiet retirement, she founded the Culture to Culture Foundation to promote positive mental health. Often students think you can be a clinician, but not an advocate and innovator at the same time. They need to follow her example. She epitomizes the best of social work.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm so honored and humbled to be selected for this award. I'd like to thank the California Social Work Hall of Distinction Committee for shining a light to social work profession and recognizing the critically important work social workers do. I also like to thank my mentor and my inspiration, Dr. Jim Kelly, for nominating me. Thank you for being my great role model throughout my career as a social worker. I have a special thanks to go to Dean Emerita Win Kaur for introducing me at today's induction ceremony. Being introduced by a distinguished Dean Emerita is a true honor to me, particularly from the School of Social Work, where I graduated 49 years ago. Ladies and gentlemen, after being a social worker for almost half a century, I certainly wanted to thank my husband, David Chen, and my two daughters, Jo Chen Meek and Xiao Chen Li. Thank you for your unconditional love and support. Last but not the least, I'd like to thank those who have supported and contributed to Culture Foundation. Your continued support and generosity have made our mission possible over the last 20 years. Thank you.
Our next congratulatory message is from Tony Thurman. He's the California State Superintendent of Public Education. Let's give it a listen.
Hey everyone, at the California chapter of the National Association of Social Workers. I'm Tony Thurman, proud to serve as your state superintendent of public instruction, working with our 10,000 schools in the great state of California Greetings to my colleague and friend, your Executive Director, Deborah Sun, and to everyone who is being honored here tonight. Thank you all, social workers all across our state, for all you do for everyone in our state and in our nation. I can't think of a more difficult time than the one that we're experiencing, and social workers help everyone in so many complex and different ways. I took my MSW in 1995. And I've continued to utilize the lessons provided by my training. I've had the chance to work in human services, to work for nonprofits, doing fundraising and advocacy, the opportunity to serve as a legislator, and now as the elected state superintendent, supporting 6 million students across 10,000 schools in our state. This is clearly one of the toughest times we're ever going to experience in our lifetime. Dealing with the difficulty and the trauma of the pandemic, dealing with the pandemic of racism, also dealing with fires and natural disasters, and so many challenges being faced by Californians. I'm grateful to be in a profession that's about helping people. As we say, we meet people wherever they are, and social workers are able to help in so many different ways. Thank you all, and know that at the California Department of Education, good social work is taking place. Whether it's our community schools program, which has $3 billion for wraparound supports to support our children and to provide transformative programs for social justice and racial justice and change, just like what it is that social workers do. For the $4 billion that we are now implementing to have mental health programs for everyone from birth through the ages of 25. So many important things that we need to do. And so important for us to acknowledge the hard work that social workers everywhere do. And so for those reasons, I'm proud to say congratulations to those who are being honored tonight, like Bart Grossman and Jaja Chien, E.J. Middleton, Gary Bess, my longtime friend and associate, Jan Lee Wong, Virginia Rondero Hernandez, and we also want to say congratulations, Lillian Ida Matsumoto. Congratulations to all of you. Thank you, social workers, for all you do. And please continue to be safe and well.
Our next congratulatory message is from Dean Linda Burton. She's the Dean of the University of California at Berkeley School of Social Work. Dean Burton.
As Dean of the Berkeley School of Social Welfare, on behalf of our students, staff, and faculty, I want to extend our warmest congratulations to those being inducted into the California Social Work Hall of Distinction. We extend special congrats to Bart Grossman, who directed Berkeley's field education program for 30 years, and to Virginia Hernandez, former director of CalSWAC. We are deeply impressed with all of today's honorees. All of you have dedicated your careers to the common good. You have all made a difference in communities, and more than likely, you have gotten yourself into some good trouble that John Lewis talked about. We at Berkeley Social Welfare salute you, and we thank you for the work that you have done to create a more just world.
Our next presenter is Dr. Benjamin Cuellar. He himself is an inductee into the California Hall of Distinction, and also he was once chair and a member of our committee. He will be introducing us to Dr. Virginia Rondero Hernandez and telling us about her many accomplishments, including being the head of CalSWIC.
I am Dr. Benjamin Cuellar. I am pleased to have the opportunity to introduce Dr. Virginia Rondero Hernandez for induction into the California Social Work Hall of Distinction. This recognizes her accomplishments and contributions in social work practice, policy, and education in the Central California region and in California as a whole. At California State University, Fresno, this included innovative leadership, multicultural curriculum development, research initiatives, and program development. At the California Social Work Education Center, CalSWIC, this included strategic plan implementation, serving as principal investigator for a $120 million portfolio in grants and contracts, revision of child welfare training standards, new stipend programs in behavioral science and adult protective services, and changes in board membership and representation. A signature contribution was a solid relationship she had with the various essential groups involved with CalSWET. She led it through a difficult period in its history and development. She is an outstanding inductee into the Hall of Distinction. I am pleased to present her for induction into it.
I'm honored to be inducted into the California Social Work Hall of Distinction today. This achievement rests on the contributions of many family members, colleagues, and most of all, the many clients I have served over the years. My parents, Peter and Cora Rondero, instilled in me the values of faith, family, service, and pride in my Mexican-American heritage. My parents also taught me the value of social justice in our experiences in rearing my youngest brother, PJ, who was born with Down syndrome during a time when there was so little respect and understanding about those born with different abilities. Their actions fueled my desire to help others and improve how we serve our communities. As a result, I have served in many social work capacities as a caseworker, outreach specialist, community organizer, counselor, manager, administrator, and educator. And I have many colleagues and mentors to thank for opening the doors to these experiences. But most of all, I have my family and friends to thank for helping me progress in my career and to realize my professional aspirations. I want to thank my colleagues from Texas State University, San Marcos, California State University, Fresno, and UC Berkeley for supporting my teaching, research, and leadership. I especially want to thank my husband, John Hernandez, and my children, Roberto Carlos and Cristina Dominique, for all their support and understanding throughout my career. I close with a quote by Stephen Greye that was passed on to me by my greatest mentor, Sal Orlando. It has governed my actions even when times were tough and relationships were tested. It reads, "I shall pass through this world but once. Any good, therefore, that I can do, or any kindness that I can show to any human being, let me do it now. Let me not defer nor neglect it, as I shall not pass this way again." Thank you.
Our next presenter is Greg Merrill, who's the immediate past field education director of the UC Berkeley School of Social Work. He will be telling us about Bart Grossman, who also was a previous field education director at UC Berkeley. Dr. Grossman shared vision for CalSWIC, along with Dr. Harry Speck's vision and others, revolutionized child welfare in California and set a model that has been replicated nationally. I remember Dr. Grossman well when I was a CalSWIC coordinator. He was the first director of CalSWIC. With that, here's Greg.
My name is Greg Merrill, and I'm the former Director of Field Education for UC Berkeley School of Social Welfare. And it is my honor today to introduce my friend and my mentor, Bart Grossman, into the California Social Work Hall of Distinction. Bart served as the School of Social Welfare's field director from 1982 until 2012, 30 years, where he designed high-impact courses as well as a high-impact field education model that left an enduring imprint upon 6,000 practicing social workers throughout our state. In addition to his work at the school, he founded a national network of field directors and two incredibly important networks that are still in existence today and doing high-impact work in Northern California and statewide. Those would be the Bay Area Social Services Consortium. Bart had the vision of bringing together directors of county human service agencies in the Bay Area with deans and directors at schools of social work to think big about social problems, solutions, and workforce development. In 1989, he and Harry Specht, the former dean of the school, and others envisioned and created what is now the California Social Work Education Center, CalSWEC. Known best for its Title IV-E child welfare training program, CalSWEC has offered stipends to over 10,000 MSW students, often bilingual, often from underrepresented communities, to form our workforce in California to respond to child safety concerns. Bart is the driving force and had the bold vision to imagine that statewide program that endures today. Perhaps most of all, what I want to emphasize about Bart is his historical and philosophical nature, combined with his ability to think boldly into the future. He really is a design thinker, an ethicist, an extremely knowledgeable person, and funny, as well as kind. Bart, you completely deserve this honor, and thank you so much for the lasting imprint you've left on all of us.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for the intro, Greg, and for all your work on the nomination. Thanks to Deans Midgley, Edelson, and Burton, and former CEO of Help for Children, Renee Skolasky, for your letters of support. And thanks, of course, to the selection committee. I'm delighted and proud to be inducted into the California Social Work Hall of Distinction, which includes so many social work heroes. It's humbling to be counted among them. There are so many people I should thank, but there just isn't enough time, so I will thank my family for their constant support and patience, Dean Harry Specht for his visionary leadership, and Sharon Gilson for her friendship and persistence. I also want to thank the many colleagues, friends, and especially the students who taught me, challenged me, and made me better than I was. I am so glad that this is the California Hall of Distinction because I did my best and most lasting work here. I'm grateful for the many opportunities that were given to me, and I hope I helped to open the door to opportunities for many others. If my work has improved the lives of children, then I have been privileged to do something that mattered. This recognition coming at this time in my life is really a capstone to my career, but I will never stop working for the common good in whatever ways I can, because I am a social worker, and I always will be.
Congratulations to all the social workers being inducted into the Hall of Distinction today. You're being recognized for a level of excellence, innovation, and dedication that has significantly improved the lives of Californians and the practice of social work. You're the leaders that have shaped the next generation of our profession. Your work has increased cultural competency and founded educational programs. It has supported the growth of nonprofit organizations and influenced city and state policy. One particular honoree, Lillian Matsumoto, reminds us all that the impact of social work spans generations. Her work at Children's Village and Manzanar is an inspiration for today's social workers helping children separated at the border. And on behalf of the USC Suzanne Dvorak Peck School of Social Work, a special congratulations to our alumnus, Gary Bess. Thank you to all the 2021 inductees for what you've given to the practice of social work, the state of California, and the world. Congratulations.
Greetings. I want to congratulate everyone who's being inducted into the California Social Work Hall of Distinction in 2021. My name is Laura Abrams. I'm a graduate of UC Berkeley Social Welfare, and I am currently chair of the Department of Social Welfare at UCLA. Bart Grossman, Chia Chien, E. Jane Middleton, Gary Bess, Lee Wong, Virginia Rondero Hernandez, and Lillian Leda Matsumoto have all made amazing contributions to our profession, to scholarship, and to the advancement of social work in California. I congratulate you, I'm excited for you, and I wish you well on receiving this wonderful honor.
And now, I would like to introduce a very special tribute to Legacy awardee Lillian Aida Matsumoto.
Good afternoon. I'm Carol Matsumoto. My younger brother Kent and I would like to thank you for recognizing our mother, Lillian Matsumoto's work. Mother entered UC Berkeley at the age of 16. She completed her undergraduate studies in 1933 and postgraduate studies in 1935. Mother was the assistant superintendent at Shonyen, a home for Japanese children in Los Angeles. With the outbreak of World War II, all parentless children with a trace of Japanese blood were sent to an internment camp. Ultimately, 105 children lived in Children's Village at Manzanar. It was the only camp of 10 to house an orphanage. The children ranged in age from 3 months to 17 years. Mother was charged with citing the orphanage and chose to have it built next to the camp hospital as there was no transportation for the internees. The site also had the potential for a play area. Next, Mother had to decide what to take with them to furnish 3 tar paper barracks that would house the children and staff as well. Of note, this all had to be done before the transporting and caring of the children could begin.
In sort of running the orphanage, what were your different roles?
He had the business end, like contacting if the gardeners wanted more seeds or things like that, business end of running the building, to contact the administration for requests, kitchen needs. Mm-hmm. That was his work. And I did the social work under that. Mm-hmm. When new children were coming in, I would read the reports and meet the bus when they came in with the kids.
And what was your educational background? You said you went to Berkeley, is that right?
I went to Berkeley, and Berkeley had only a 1-year graduate work at that time. So I was in that program and got my graduate certificate in social work. Mm-hmm. I think I was the second niece to get that at Berkeley.
Mm-hmm. What year did you graduate?
I got that degree in 35 and my bachelor in 33. I'm 93 now, so.
And then did you go to Shonin directly after college?
Yes, when I graduated the social work, Shonin had been getting funding from the LA, I think they called it community chest. And they were going to rescind that funding because they wanted a trained social worker on the staff. All the agencies that was receiving the funding had to do that. And Shonin was going to lose that. And one of the ministers in Los Angeles, Japanese minister, heard that I was heard about me, and I was just receiving my graduate certificate. So it just turned out good for me and good for them. So I started work at Shonin in September of 1935.
And was Harry already at Shonin?
No, he was on the board, but I didn't get
In closing, I am the 3-month-old baby orphan who was fortunate to be adopted by Lillian and Harry and Matsumoto when the camp was finally shut down after 3 long years. Thank you.
Our next presenter is Katie Stroutman, who's both a principal at Gary Bess Associates, and she is our 5th inductee's daughter. Like our previous presenter, she's very proud of her parents' work and its impact on healthcare development in California. Let's hear Katie's story.
Hello, I'm Katie Stroutman, principal at Gary Bess Associates, and I am honored and delighted to be introducing Gary Bess, my father, into the California Social Work Hall of Distinction. Gary has contributed to the social work profession in California for more than 40 years. He is an expert in health and human services grant development, program evaluation, advocacy, service design, and implementation of services in underserved communities. He has contributed to social work education and its management literature on human services administration, child care, behavioral health care, and social work leadership. As a father and mentor, he has ingrained in me social work values and the NASW Code of Ethics. I have followed his footsteps in macro social work, earning my MSW and DSW degrees, and now taking over a successful consulting firm, Gary Bess Associates. With support from dedicated staff, my father has brought the state millions in grant dollars to support underserved communities. His exceptional leadership style and ongoing focus on professional development is acknowledged by staff, many who consider him a mentor and role model. With that, I want to introduce Gary Bess, an exceptional leader, mentor, father, grandfather, colleague, and friend.
Thank you, Katie. Nelson Mandela once said, "Where you stand depends on where you sit." And I think this is especially apt for the social work profession. The things that we do and the positions that we take are influenced by who we are and what we value. I think about early social workers who, before there was a profession, did social work, helping the poor, new immigrants, marginalized individuals, and if not for them, many people would not receive the benefits that they are entitled, justly entitled to receive. We're in a profession, fortunately, that's broad as well as deep. If it wasn't so, I don't think that I would be a social worker. I joke with colleagues that I would not be a very good clinician, but I am good in providing resources for organizations, not just financial resources, but information, evaluating human service programs, and other components that are necessary for a successful organization. So over the years, we've worked with hundreds of organizations and in my calculations have helped thousands of individuals. It's been for more than 30 years now that Gary Bess Associates has been around, and I'm very thankful that I've had the opportunity to consult. Early on, I never saw myself as a consultant. My wife Cindy was offered an academic position at Chico State. We moved from Southern to Northern California with kids in tow. And because I had experience in health center management as well as grant writing, I found some early opportunities to consult working with health centers. The rest really is history. I'm proud that we have 16 employees, 6 of whom are social workers, and all subscribe to social work values. And I'm equally as proud of the fact that we provide them with the tools they need to provide services to those that are in need. So I'm honored to be included in the Hall of Distinction. I accept this award on behalf of my colleagues at Gary Bess Associates, other health and human service agencies that we work with, and on behalf of all of them, thank you for this honor.
Our next presenter is David Foster. He's the director of the Cal State Fresno Social Welfare Evaluation Research and Training Center. David is also a former California Social Work Education Center coordinator. He's currently a member of the Hall of Distinction Committee. David has nominated E. Jane Middleton for this honor, and he commends her for her culturally responsive and ethical practice. Now let's hear from David.
Hello, my name is David Foster with the Fresno State Social Welfare Evaluation Research and Training Center. It is my pleasure to introduce to you Dr. Jane Middleton for induction into the California Social Work Hall of Distinction. Dr. Middleton earned both her bachelor's and master's degrees in social work from Temple University School of Social Administration. In 1985, Dr. Middleton earned her DSW from the University of Pennsylvania and later became the chair of the Temple University School of Social Administration. She was recruited to Fresno State's Department of Social Work Education in the year 2000. Dr. Middleton, upon relocating to Fresno, shared her advocacy vision with many, both locally and statewide. She has served as both president and vice president of the National Association of Social Workers California chapter. She is a person with a quiet demeanor, but she has had a bold impact on the lives of families and communities. Dr. Middleton exemplifies the heart of the social work profession. She demonstrates devotion to the education of culturally responsive practitioners and a commitment to equality and inclusion. Dr. Middleton has devoted her life to the tenets of the professional code of ethics that connects us all. I know you will join me in congratulating Dr. Middleton for a life and a career worthy of induction into the Hall of Distinction.
Good afternoon. I am both honored and humbled by the induction into the Social Work Hall of Distinction. My thanks to those who considered my work worthy of nomination, the committee members who recommended, my family, friends, and colleagues who have provided me support during my social work career. My work experience has afforded me the opportunity to work across many systems. The major portion of my career, however, has been spent in education. During my years in academia, I've found the students to be exceptional. I have been challenged and learned much from them. Students are often asked, "What will you do with your degree?" Most indicate that they want to help people. They suggest they want to correct a wrong, solve a problem, improve the lives of others. My journey's purpose, not unlike that of student, is to help people. I consider our profession a noble one. It is that idealized notion to do good work that makes the heart work so hard. We approach our work using different models, practice approaches across a variety of venues. Sometimes the systems in which we must function may be oppressive, not only to those who receive services, but those who deliver them as well. What maintains and sustains me in the work is a constant, remembering that basic question asked of students. What do you want to do? Remembering the why of our work, knowing that people matter, holding steady to the realization our profession honors, that has been an anchor for me. Again, thank you for this incredible honor. And if I may conclude with the words of an old spirituals sung in the country church of my youth, if I can help somebody along the way, then my living will not be in vain. Thank you, and congratulations, fellow inductees.
Hi, I'm Senator Scott Wiener. I want to say congratulations to all of the inductees into the California Social Work Hall of Distinction. As we move through this incredibly difficult period of time during the pandemic, the role of social workers has had a big spotlight on it. Social workers, you have for so many years just been there, unsung heroes, helping our most vulnerable residents, people who really need help just with the basics and just navigating their lives and getting the benefits to which they're entitled and staying in stable housing. You've done that work quietly, and it's such important work. And so I'm thrilled that you're being recognized, and I look forward to continuing to work with you. It's been a great experience to work with social workers as we move forward legislation in the Capitol to help our most vulnerable communities. And I look forward to much more of that collaboration moving forward. Congratulations.
And last but not least, this presenter is Deborah Sun. She's the current director of NASW California, and she has nominated the immediate past director of NASW California, Jan Lee Wong. I think everyone in this room knows Jan Lee and swears they just talked to him a few months ago. The presenting will be shared by Rebecca Gonzalez and Jolie Wee, both who work for NASW California. Let's take a look.
Hi. Good afternoon. My name is Deborah Sun. I am the Executive Director with the National Association of Social Workers California chapter. We are actually the largest professional association in the nation for social workers, with California being the largest chapter. It is absolutely my honor and pleasure to congratulate and send my heartfelt appreciations to the 7 extraordinary individuals who are going to be inducted into this year's California Social Work Hall of Distinction. Bart Grossman, Jia Chen, E.J. Middleton, Gary Bess, Jan Lee Wong, Virginia Rondera Hernandez, Lillian Ida Matsumoto. Again, congratulations, and I do want to name a special warm congratulations to Mr. Jan Lee Wong, who is my predecessor here at NASW California, and certainly epitomizes the passion, heart, and kindness that is social work. Congratulations, and thank you all for joining us today to celebrate this wonderful occasion.
Hello, I am Rebecca Gonzalez, Director of Government Relations for NASW California. I worked with Jan Lee for 11 years at NASW, and as a non-social worker, Jan Lee introduced me to social work practice, education, and ethics. His passion for the profession is infectious. Every year as we welcomed a new group of interns, I could see Jan Lee's pleasure on educating his next victims. Jan Lee introduced me to many social work professionals, and I was able to see the respect and admiration they have for him. His contributions to the social work profession cannot be exaggerated. At BBS meetings, Jan Lee was the unofficial historian who also always brought context and his perspective to every discussion. In fact, his name still comes up as at BBS meetings as they wonder, what would Jan Lee do? Jan Lee, this honor is well deserved.
Hi everyone, I'm Jolene Hui, and I'm super excited to be here to say a few words about Jan Lee Wong upon his induction into the Social Work Hall of Distinction. I had the honor to work with him during his final handful of years, finishing up his 25-year tenure as Executive Director at NASW California, where I serve as the Membership Director. Although he retired last year, I continue to get calls from folks seeking an ethical consultation from him. He's a social work celebrity. Jan Lee knows that the ability to build relationships is the key to being a successful social worker. He's been a mentor to countless interns and staff members, such as myself, over the past few decades. I am so thankful that I had and continue to have his guidance in my career. He is a true icon of the social work profession. Congratulations, Jan Lee.
I'd like to thank the California Social Work Hall of Distinction Committee, the staff, volunteers, nominators, and supporters for this great honor. I'm humbled by my fellow inductees and their amazing work. I could say something about all of them, but I've only got 2 minutes, so I'll call out the one I didn't know, but found so impressive. Lillian Matsumoto, despite the racist hysteria of World War II, having her citizen rights stripped away, being imprisoned, saw another injustice, one that she could do something about as a social worker. She could help the children who had little or no family but were put in prison, her prison. I wouldn't have known her story but for her daughter's nomination and the Hall's induction. Lillian's story is part of a remarkable effort to reveal these stories for this and future generations. Social workers work without drawing attention to themselves and their clients, but the injustice of the system, the racism of society, and the need for reform calls social workers to be loud and active, to cause what the late, great John Lewis called good trouble. With this induction, I'm joining a gallery of troublemakers, good troublemakers. My own social work journey started in elementary school, being taunted racially. It's when I realized that I and my family were different, and it led me to try to fit in, but I couldn't because of my race. Public school education taught me nothing about injustice, racism, or social work. My parents were quiet about it, having learned to keep a low profile in the face of the 19th century Chinese exclusion law. But this nascent social worker in me wasn't going to be quiet, and social work education provided me with the knowledge and the tools that I needed. A social worker's greatest reward is to see and feel that they've helped someone. In helping many, that reward is multiplied many times over. I'm grateful that social work has allowed me this experience and for the Hall's efforts to tell the stories. In my culture, you can't say thank you enough. So, thank you for this honor.
If you were touched and moved by what you saw today, please consider making a nomination for next year's event. It will be our 20th anniversary, and we need the help of the social work community in the form of nominations and donations. There will be information on how to do this on the screen below. Maurice, I think we have an induction class that got into some pretty good trouble. It's great role modeling for our students. You know, I don't know if I can pick my favorite moment. How about you?
I agree completely. I don't think it's possible to pick a favorite moment, but I know that I was so touched by the story of Lillian Ida Matsumoto and the fact that she adopted one of the orphans from the internment camp. I'm without words. I'm so touched by it. And I agree with what you said. We want to implore you to nominate your favorite social workers to the Social Work Hall of Distinction. We are looking for social workers from all areas of practice, whether it's micro, meso, or macro. We want social workers from all over the state, from every city and county in California, and we want you to consider participating with the California Social Welfare Archives by joining our board of directors, by joining one of our committees, including the Social Work Hall of Distinction Committee. We want you to find a way to participate, to use your voice so that we can come together as a social work community in California and continue to tell the stories of these pioneering social workers. And one other thing, we need your financial support. This event was made possible through various partnerships and sponsorships. Some of the names that you see on the screen before you have been supporting the California Social Welfare Archives for many, many years, and we really appreciate their support. But we want you to join us too. So if you can reach out and support us with a donation or a sponsorship, we would welcome and appreciate that support. And finally, I want to recognize all of our important institutional partners, the University of Southern California, the School of Social Work, the USC Libraries. This event wouldn't have been possible today without Trojan Event Services and their incredible staff who have been so patient and so generous with their time in putting together a polished and professional event. Our board of directors for the California Social Welfare Archives and their generous support, and the California Social Work Hall of Distinction Committee, which was institutionalized, to borrow words from Sue Peck, by Dr. Colleen Friend. Each and every member of the committee has been dedicated to ensuring that we have an outstanding class of inductees each and every year. And next year, for the 20th anniversary of the California Social Work Hall of Distinction, will be a year like none other. Please get involved. We would love to have your support and thank you for attending today. Congratulations to all of our inductees. And Colleen, I have to thank you for coming back to make this event so special and for helping us to honor all of our inductees.
Maurice, you're welcome. And I wonder if we could give some special recognition to Dr. Peter Lee and the San Jose State University College of Health and Human Sciences for all their work on this reception and for putting it together. And we want to acknowledge all the people who came in the ballroom to attend the reception. And from all of us to all of you, wherever you're watching around the world, we want to say good night and please join us next year.